Hello guys, welcome to today's session. Yeah, we're going to have like 10 minutes so that the presenter can get ready, and also, yeah, so the rest of you. Yeah, so once again, welcome guys to today's session. Yeah, so we're going to continue with our Flutter series, and we are actually in day two. I mean, week two. We are in week two of our Flutter week. So I'm Alex Moniki, the GDSC cybersecurity lead, and we're going to continue with what we were covering last week. We covered introduction to that, and so tonight we're going to cover now the basics of Flutter, how to work with the widgets, and also how to manage the widgets. Yeah, so I don't want to talk much. Yeah, if you have any question, you can post it in the Q&A or also in the chats. Yeah, let me just enable the Q&A. Yeah, so you can ask it in the Q&A or maybe in the chats. And also, yeah, we're also live on YouTube. I've shared the link with you, and you can also share with your friends. So yeah, so we can learn. From there, I'll welcome Victor Mutedia, the GDSC Flutter lead, to continue from there.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Oh, yes, we can hear you.
Oh, nice, nice. So, thank you so much, guys, for like setting aside your time and joining us for this another Flutter session. Okay, the first Flutter session after our previous that session, which was successful, and I really hope that also like this Flutter introduction session will be exciting also, and I really hope that you will learn like the best that you can from me. Yeah, so welcome. I think we'll give guys like 2 more minutes, and then at 8:10 we'll start our session. Yeah, so let's send the link to the group. Yeah, then we will start officially at in the next like 1 minute.
Hello, Victor. Are you still on the meeting?
Hello, yeah, I think we can start now.
Oh,
Let
yeah.
me
I thought
present.
we had lost you.
No, I'm still
Okay.
on. Let me present my screen.
Okay, sure.
Okay, okay, just a minute. Okay, kindly confirm if you can all see my screen.
Yeah, we can see the screen.
Okay, yeah, so once again, welcome to our session. Today we are going to look at the basics of Flutter, that is from creating a Flutter application and using widgets and how widgets are manipulated to create these such beautiful UIs using Flutter. We will start from the very basics of any widget, uh, any screen that is like the layout of the screen, what like builds a screen, the components of a screen, that is. And because like an application is like a combination of different screens. For example, if you head over to this flutter.dev website, you will see this sample application. Like this is the BMW's mobile app, which is made by Flutter. And like just like any other typical application, there are different screens. For example, this is the home screen, whereby you get to see the dashboard, maybe like the trending sale or vehicle. And then you can have other application, I mean other pages, like the maps page, there may be website, your profile page, and all those pages or screens. And so if you know how to craft a single page and then you craft another one and another one, basically that is what comprises of an application. Yeah, because you cannot just have an application with only a single page. Okay, you can, okay, depending on your use case, but typically an application is like a combination of different screens. And so it is crucial to know how to lay out your widgets in one page, like the alignment, like how you create widgets, how you decorate them, how you have images and all these icons and stuff. So that is what we'll be looking at today. And we will start from creating a Flutter application. Because that is basically the first thing that you have to do before you start like coding your writing your Dart code into the Flutter application. And there are two alternatives for that. You can do that on your machine locally. That is, you install the IDE, that is either VS Code or Android Studio or IntelliJ or all those other IDEs. But you can also do it online. There is a website called FlatLab. Can maybe open it over here, flatlab.io. So what this does is like it gives you an online environment, like an online IDE for Flutter, whereby you can just get started on the go without installing all those Flutter stuff and running Flutter locally in your machine. You can go check it out for purposes of like learning. But the ideal one or the preferred way is just having Flutter in your machine locally, because sometimes you have to create like a big application whereby this web platform cannot handle, or where you have to maybe want to debug the application on your real device so that you can monitor some metrics or some issues with your application. So it is ideal for you to have the IDE installed locally in your machine. We had a session for installing Flutter installing Flutter in Windows, and I will also send those links to the group again so that anyone who has not installed Flutter can install it. But yeah, you can choose between using this and having a local IDE, that is either VS Code or Android Studio, IntelliJ, and all those supported IDEs. Then the next thing that you do, that is, let me close this down. The first thing that you do now that you have installed, okay, personally I have installed Flutter in my system. So I will open VS Code. I prefer using VS Code simply because that is my, like I like its tooling and I'm familiar with its tooling. So I'm sorry for this. I'll just close this folder for now. So once you open VS Code, there are various ways that you can create your Flutter application, and I would like us to cover a few ones. You can have Control Shift and P. That is like a command. Control Shift P. It will pop up this dialog, and then you type Flutter, and then you'll see these suggestions already showing you over here. There is this Flutter new project, there is this Flutter run Flutter Doctor, and there is Flutter run Flutter upgrade. So you click on Flutter new project, and then it will ask you if it is an application or an empty application or a skeleton application or a module package plugin and all those. In our case, it is an application, so I'll click application, and then it will ask you to select the folder which you want to create the project in. I'm on Linux. If you're on Windows, it will pop Windows a normal like typical dialog for selecting your folder. So I want to create ours on desktop. So I'll just select up and then click on select this folder to create the project in. And then the next step is entering your project name. That is your application's name. Yeah, that is the project name. I mean, it's not the application name, because you can edit the application name later inside your Flutter app. So I'll just name our project. Okay, there are some rules that you're supposed to use when naming your project. First of all, there should be no uppercase letters, that is the capital letters, and there should be no spaces. There should be no spaces in between your application. If you feel that there needs to be a space, you use this underscore. For example, for instance, you can see this is Flutter underscore application underscore one. Instead of writing Flutter application one with spaces, you use underscores in between the words that you want to separate. So in our case, I will name it Flutter underscore, let's say, learning, Flutter learning. So this name satisfies the naming criteria. So if you have a capital letter, let's say like this capital T, it will tell you that project name should be all lowercase with underscores to separate words. So it should be all small letters. So I'll name it Flutter underscore learning. Then I'll click enter. And then, yeah, we'll just wait now for it to do some to run some creating. There is this command create template app that will start running. You need internet to be enabled so that it can fetch the packages. That is when you're creating the application, you need your internet to be on. Yeah. Let me increase this font just a little bit so that it will be visible to everybody. 16, 18. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is visible enough. So that is how you create a Flutter project. That is from VS Code. For Android Studio, I think I can open Android Studio over here. Android Studio. Okay, I don't have it like as an application. So let me check from my terminal. Just a minute. Where is this? Android Studio, Android Studio. Is it in Android? Android. Nope. I must have it somewhere because it's downloads. It's been a while since I used Android Studio. That's why I have, yeah, here it is. So I'll just copy, then I'll navigate to that folder, Android Studio, and then there is, I think, bin, and then there is this studio.sh. So I'll just run .sh. But if you are on Windows, I think it just installs as an application. So you can just open up your Windows menu, and then you can search Android Studio. Yeah, it will run Android Studio. So using Android Studio, it is even simpler. It is even a simpler process because you just have to select, like it is already there, create a Flutter project. So just like this. So you have new project. Let me maximize this. So you click on new project, and then it should ask you, let's see, more actions, I think. Nope. Do I have the Flutter installed? Yeah, I didn't install the Flutter plugins. So if you have this Flutter plugin installed, let's install it. So for you to create Flutter applications with Android Studio, you need to have this Flutter plugin installed. Then at the home level here, it will just ask you if you want to create a Flutter project just directly. Then you select and then you enter the name and all those details, and then you just click create. I really wish that it doesn't take a lot of time to download so that we move on quickly. Yeah, so meanwhile, if you have any question or issue, you can just type it in our chat section. Yeah, you can already see there is one. Can you repeat Kiasi here VS Code? Yeah, sure. Just a minute. It tells me to restart IDE, so I'll just click on restart. Saving application. It has closed Android Studio. I really hope that it will open it for me again. Yeah, sure. Yeah, so you see, this is create new Flutter project, just direct. So you just click on this and then you enter the name here, and remember the naming conventions that we are using, that no capital letters, no spaces. If you want to separate two words, you use a underscore. So new Flutter, let's say Flutter project, like that. And then location, then you can select your location. If you don't want your project to be saved in the studio projects, I'll just leave mine there. And then I don't think there are any other settings that you need. You just need to click on create. And then creating new project, then it will create, take some time, index your application. An issue with Android Studio is that it is like heavy on memory. So if your laptop is not like stable enough, it might bring up some issues because like it is resource intensive kinda. Yeah. So that's why I prefer VS Code because it is like a smooth ride. But if you are someone coming from the native side and you are familiar with the tooling of Flutter, I mean the tooling of Android Studio, you will find it easier to work with Android Studio than working with VS Code. But if you are more of like from the website and stuff, I would rather advise you to go with VS Code. My system is low on power, so just a minute. You plug in charger. Let's see. Why is it not charging? Just a minute. Yeah, it's charging. So our project is created successfully. So you can just run the project from here. Let's see this dialog if it will disappear. Yeah, so the code for your project, where is this? It's supposed to be somewhere. Why can't I see the code? Has it fit? Okay, updating in the indices. Why is it opening this code? Let's see. Okay, Android Studio just give. I've never actually like developed an application using Android Studio, but let's see. It's supposed to be somewhere, like project files. Open files. I don't know. I'll confirm that, and then we will see like how to get to this code, because ideally you should have like These are typical setup for Flutter code when you create a new project. Someone requested I repeat for creating using VS Code. So the first thing is you just have to close any open folders. So when you open up your VS Code, like a fresh instance of VS Code, it will look like this. Like this is the welcome page. Then you have to click Control, Shift, and P at once. Then it will pop this dialog. Uh, for me, this Flutter new project is coming up because it is recently used, as they have written here. But you'll just have to type it. Like if you want to search it, Flutter. The moment you just type Flutter, you'll see these three commands: the new project, Flutter Doctor, and Flutter Upgrade. In our case, we want these new projects, so I'll just click on it. And then it will ask me if I want an application, a package, module, plugin. So I'll click on application. Then the third step will be selecting the folder. So I'll just stick with desktop for now. Then click select this folder. The fourth step is entering the project name. And we have said that the name should be all lowercase with underscores to separate the words. So I will have, let's say, another Flutter project. Okay, now that's a bit cringe. Let's have the name learning Flutter, learning underscore Flutter. So all should be lowercase, and if you want to separate the words again, you use an underscore. Then I'll click on enter, and then it will run this Flutter create command for a while, and then after that you will see these files over here, a lot of files, but don't worry about them. We'll cover them in a few, and then it will open up this page main.dat, and yeah, we'll talk about this too. You can also create a Flutter application from your terminal. Let's say you are on Linux and also Windows. So if you are a terminal person, let me show you how to do it. So first of all, you open your terminal. If you are on Windows, I think you will open your command prompt. Then you will navigate to the folder that you want using the cd command. So in my case, I'll navigate to desktop, like that. Then confirm that you are in the folder that you want to create that app. Okay. Then the next thing is you run this command, flutter create, and then space. That is flutter space create space, then the name of your application. And remember, you also have to follow the convention for naming your app. No uppercase letters and words separated by underscores. So I will name this terminal example. So this is terminal underscore example. Then I'll click on enter. Yeah, you see, so this folder will be created over here, and then you'll see some getting dependencies and all those stuff. And then the last instruction will be, in order to run your application, you type cd terminal example and then flutter run. So cd terminal example means you get into that folder. So I'll just cd terminal underscore example, like that. So I am inside the terminal example folder. And then if you want to open VS Code from the terminal, you'll just type code, then space, then full stop. So this is like telling VS Code to open inside this folder, this terminal example folder. Yeah. Then I click on enter. So it will open up VS Code, and the folder will be terminal example with all the Flutter code already there for you. I'm sorry. Is the same as this, the other one that we created using this command. You can see, if I may be able to show you, like the files, they are the same. I'll just use half of the screen and half of this. So if you compare this and this, they are all the same. So either if you prefer using the terminal, or you prefer using the VS Code, or you prefer using Android Studio, that is up to you. Yeah. So I hope that is understood. Yeah. Yeah. So from there, okay, if you have any issue, again, you can just type it on the chat and then we'll go through it. Yeah, so once you've created your Flutter project, there are all these files. There is an Android folder, iOS folder, lib folder, Linux, macOS, test, web, Windows. And then there are these other files, the gitignore, the Flutter learning, IML, pubspec.loc, pubspec.yaml, and a readme file. Our area of interest for now is this lib folder. So the lib folder is where all your code for Flutter goes in. The iOS folder deals with configuration if you are building for iOS applications. Same for Android folder, that is things like Gradle, things like setting your Android icon and all those stuff. Same to the web folder, that is the index.html. You can edit how your application runs on the web, separate from how it runs from the Android. But the code remains the same, that is inside the lib folder. As you all know, like Flutter builds for all these platforms, the Linux, macOS, test, web, Android, iOS. So any special configurations that need to be done per that platform go inside the respective folders. But for creating the application, that is writing the Flutter code, all goes inside this lib folder. Yeah. So again, you have all these folders, that is the Windows, web, macOS, Linux, iOS, Android, and .idea folders. Like from their names, you can see that these are the platforms, all the platforms that Flutter builds for. So the purpose of these folders is they have some configurations that you want to write for a specific platform. Let's say maybe you are importing a plugin in your Flutter code, but this plugin requires you to have some, if you are running this app on Android, requires you to have you to have like some SDK version specific SDK version for Android. So you'll have to adjust the SDK version from the Android folder. We'll look at that in the later stages, maybe things like that. Like the more you develop this for these platforms, the more you'll interact with these their specific folders and making those special configuration. But for now, our main focus is with the lib folder, because this is where all the like Flutter magic occurs. Okay. Yeah, I really hope that you have understood this. There is this pubspec.yaml file. This is a very special file where we have the configurations for our Flutter app. That is the name, description, the version. This is where you increment your Flutter version. I mean your app's version. There is the Flutter version that your app is created using. Dependencies go here, like you remember about the pub.dev website where we have dependencies for some special purposes. All those dependencies come here under this dependencies section. We'll learn about this later, like how to import dependencies. Also the assets in your app, that is the images, the audios, the icons. If you want to add any assets, you declare them inside this pubspec.yaml file. Things like fonts, if you want your application to have a different font than the basic one, all those configurations are done inside this pubspec.yaml file. But for now, we'll not focus on this. Let's now jump into the real deal. So the main.dat, every Flutter project must contain this main.dat file. This is a file that the Flutter engine searches for when you run your application. So it must be there. You must not write all the code inside the main.dat file. We will have separate folders inside this lib folder. Of course, you cannot say like you will write all your Flutter code inside the main.dat file. No, like it will look clumsy, and it's a bad practice. Separate folders. If you want to separate your code in folders, you can have a folder maybe for authentication. That is where your login, sign up, and all those authentication pages will go. You'll have that folder inside the lib. Yeah. If you have maybe a feature for, let's say, payments, you want to integrate, let's say, M-Pesa payments, you have all those payment options in your app, you'll create a folder inside the lib folder, maybe for that purpose. But the main file that must exist in each and every Flutter project is the main.dat file. As you can see, this okay, I think the best thing is to delete all of this, and then I'll start from scratch. Yeah, I think this will be the best thing to do. So first of all, I'll switch off this copilot, disable copilot. Yeah, thank you. So you have created your Flutter project. I hope up to there is no any issue. I'll quickly check on the QA section. Yeah, no question. Chat. Yeah. So if you have any issue, feel free to type it in the chat section.
Hello, Victor.
So, yeah, Alex.
I'm getting some questions on YouTube. People are asking the minimum specifications for installing the whole Flutter thing.
Oh, yeah. So if you head on to the Get Started section inside the flutter.dev website, you have this manual. Let's click on, let's say, Windows mobile. So over here, you'll see the system requirements. I believe that is what they are asking for. Alex.
Yeah, the minimum requirements.
Yeah. So for Windows, for Windows Flutter development, the minimum cores that you need are 4. You need a minimum of 8 GB RAM, but the recommended is 16 GB, like for a smooth, if you want a smooth experience. You need a free space to have a free space of at least 10 GB, and that is the recommended. Then for the operating system, you need at least 64-bit Windows 10 or later. So that means you cannot develop with Windows 7, 8, or anything below Windows 10. Yeah, then you need Android Studio and Git to be installed in your system. That is the development tools. But basically, the minimum requirements are 8 GB RAM and Windows 10, like Windows 10 or 11 or later. Yeah. I hope that is answered. You can check these requirements in the Get Started section. Just go to flutter.dev and then click on Get Started, and it will bring you to this page. For iOS also, you can check. For Mac OS, the hardware requirements, I think 8 GB memory, 36 GB free space, and then the software operating system, Mac OS 10 or later, that is Catalina. Yeah. So you can check those minimum requirements over there. Yeah. Any other question from that side, Alex?
There's one on the charts. How can I change the project's name?
Nice. Okay. So inside this, first of all, I don't think there is a way that you can change the project's name as such, but you can change the name of your application, like the name that you want your application, like when a user when a user installs your app to see, the name of the application, you will come to this Android folder, and then you'll see the app folder, then you'll click the SRC folder, and then you'll go to the main folder. There is like a bunch of nested folders. You start with the Android app, src, then main, and then you will see this Android manifest.xml. So I'm talking about changing the name for the Android application. I don't think if this works for iOS because I have not developed for iOS. But basically you come to this Android app src main, and then you'll see this Android manifest.xml. Then when you see, when you look at this, you'll see some XML attributes over here. That is the Android label. You'll see this Android label. The default label is the project's name. So there is a difference between the project's name and the name of the application. So your project can just remain as it is, because this is just to help you identify your project in your computer. But the name of the application you can change, like you can just delete and add your custom name over here. So this is a name that will appear under the icon for your application when the user installs your app. And I believe this is what you might want to change, because I don't think there is an essence of changing the project's name, but rather your application's name. So over here you can just type anything. This is where now you can name your application with spaces and capital letters, because if you look at the common apps we use, like WhatsApp, the W is capital, you see. So this is where you change the name of your application. So you can rename it to Flutter Learning, like that, with capital letters and spaces. But notice that again, this is the name of the application. This is not the project's name. The project's name is where you have those restrictions of having spaces, having capital letters. But for your Flutter application's name, you can just name it however you want. Yeah, inside the Android app, src, main, and then Android manifest.xml. You'll see this Android label. Then inside here is where you'll customize this. I hope that is clear. Yeah, for the application's name. So okay, I'm stuck on installing the SDK. Okay, so we ran a section on installing Flutter, the Flutter SDK, and all those steps with Alex. But if you want, we can have another session within this week before our next Wednesday meetup, whereby we'll go again through installing Flutter, so that every one of us will have a stable running Flutter before we go deep into the stuff. I will also send some links of how to install it on Windows. I think that link was sent, but we will just resend it again so that everyone can install. So don't worry about that. You can, for this, for practicing today's session, you can use the flatlab.io website. Click on get started, and then they'll give you an editor, an online editor with some emulator over here, where you'll be seeing your app as you make it. Yeah, it takes a bit of time to configure this, so I'll just cancel that. But we'll run another section within the course of this week, maybe on Friday or Saturday, and then we will make sure that everyone is at par with that. So you have created your application, you are in main.dat, and now we start now creating the fancy stuff. So I hope that when you're installing, you first have the extensions, the Flutter extensions. That is the Flutter. This is the Flutter extension, this one. And when you install this, it automatically installs the Dart, its Dart counterpart, the Dart extension. If you remember on the Android Studio page, when I clicked on install the Flutter plugin, they asked me if I want to accept the Dart plugin, because they come hand in hand. So you don't have to install this Dart. The instant you install this Flutter, it automatically comes with the Dart plugin, and they really help us with the tooling, some shortcuts and all those things. We'll see them just in a few. Yeah, So the first thing that we have is we import the material. We import the material package. This is like a package. This is like a pre-built package from the Flutter. Like when you install Flutter, it comes with this package. And what material does is that it gives us some pre-built widgets from simple low level like texts that we see on our applications to some high level widgets, and I mean some complex widgets that we will see, like page views and all those widgets. And what material does is like it removes like some redundancy. Like you don't have to create some icons yourself. Flutter already provides you with icons, colors, the text widgets, like all those pre-built widgets, and they all come under this built-in material package. So this is the first thing that you do. You import material. And then the second thing that you do, if you remember in our DAT session, we said that every an entry point of every DAT code is the void main function. You remember that? We also have void main in Flutter, so you must have void main. So what the Flutter compiler, I mean, what the Flutter engine does when you are running the application, it first looks for the lib folder. When it gets the lib folder, it looks for the main.dat file. And then the next thing that it does is it looks for this void main function. Like this, like an entry point of your application. Another thing to note is that void main is only declared once. There are no other void mains. Like you don't have to go having void main inside all those separate folders or pages that you create. It is only one, and it is in main.dat. And then so inside this void main, Flutter gives us this global function. It is called runup. And I'll have a semicolon over here. So what runup does, so another great thing with Flutter is that the documentation is robust. That means that it just comes pre-built. Like when you put your this what do we call this, your when you hover, when you place your cursor, when you place your cursor over anything like in this Flutter code, it will at least give you some documentation about it. For example, the import of this material, when I just place this over here, you'll see that material, what is this? This is Flutter widgets implementing the material design. To use, import this. There is also some YouTube video. This is a link, like when you click this, it will take you to a video explaining material. See also, there is another link for a documentation. You can see it is taking us to the Flutter dev website with for the material section for a catalog of commonly used material widgets, and another links for material 2, material 3 specification. So like basically Flutter is an upside of Flutter is that it is robust in terms of documentation. You cannot get like lost when you are coding anything in Flutter. You see, like they have this awesome documentation for it. So likewise for this runup, so I'll just bring my cursor over here. So runup, they'll say that it inflates the given widget and attaches it to the screen. And then there are a lot of like documentation over here, application shutdown, and all this documentation just from hovering over this, like just placing your cursor over here, you get access to all this. So it will tell you that this is a runup function, it's a void function, and it is expecting a widget. Okay, so over here inside you can see like it is having this error, like it is expecting one widget. So this is the first time that you will maybe interact with a widget. We have been saying widgets, and yeah. So the first widget that we have is my app. So instead of adding it here, I'll first create here outside the void main, and then we'll add it here. Okay, so the first thing is this. If you have installed the Flutter plugin, the Flutter in your VS Code, there are two types of there are basically two types of widgets in Flutter. We have stateless widgets and stateful widgets. Don't worry about like all that, but for now we'll just create a stateless widget. I'll like explain what those are in a few. And to create a stateless widget, you just have to type stls, just like that. Then you'll see this Flutter stateless widget. It is like this is a suggestion coming from this Flutter package. I mean Flutter extension. So if you have this extension, it will. Where is this? It is somewhere here. The one that we saw. This Flutter extension. So it is the one that gives you these pre-built like snippets of code that you don't have to create the widget yourself. So I'll just type stls. This will give me a Flutter stateless widget. So I'll just click on this. And then I'll delete this name and give it my app. We'll call it my app. So what this is, you can see that it is a class my app, and it is extending this stateless widget. So we have this class of stateless widget, and we have another one of stateful widget. What stateless widget means, stateless widget is a widget that it is only built once, and once it is displayed like to the screen, it does not change like throughout the entire time. The opposite of this is a stateful widget. And what a stateful widget is, it is a widget that has state. State means that there is some data that is expected to be received in your app that will change how a widget will look. An easier way I can explain state is with an example. Let's say we have WhatsApp. Most of us have WhatsApp in our phones, okay? And when you don't have any data like turned on with your WhatsApp in your WhatsApp, you only have the messages that you received or the messages that you sent only. Like you have nothing else. Like the latest message is the one that you sent last or you received last. But what happens when you turn on your data, like while you're on WhatsApp? You see, you start seeing some changes, like your received messages start appearing on the top of the previous messages. You start some changes, some green button with a number of messages, and then the messages start rearranging themselves in some order of maybe the time that you have received them. On the status bar, maybe you see some green dot if there is one of your users has updated their status. Like you can see some changes on the screen, okay? So that means that there is some data that was received into your application that has caused the UI to react like in a different way. To react, maybe rebuilding itself or adding some other widgets or changing in some certain sort of way. Don't worry about state also. We will cover state like in different dimensions. There are different ways of managing state in Flutter, and don't worry about that. But for now, we are using a stateless widget. So a stateless widget, imagine, is like your your WhatsApp homepage when you've turned off data. That means there is nothing that changes. Like once that screen is there, it's just there. When you close your application, you open, you just like meet it the way it was. Yeah. Okay, so that is what a stateless widget is. So this my app will put it in the run app. Then it will act like a portal, like of application, like that. And then we have to use const. Remember the difference between const and final in our dat class. We said that const is used for like variables that are not expected to change anywhere. So once you have defined this my app, there is no like place that it will change. Like once it is displayed on the screen, that's it. That's final. Okay. So the first thing is we have run this void. We have created this void main function. We have this run up global function that expects one widget, and the widget that we have given it is this my app widget, and my app widget is this over here, which is a stateless widget. We have this const key. Don't worry about about this key also. In area of focus is this build function. You see, so we have this build function, and what build function is, it is like a function that rebuilds the UI. Like this is the one that paints whatever we have here to the user, like the screen that you see, the app bar that you see, the body, all those components of one page. They are executed, they are shown by this build method. So every widget has a build method. Like let's say if it is a stateless or a stateful widget, they both have this build method. Only that a stateful widget needs to run this build method over and over again when new data comes in. But for stateless widget, this build method is run only once. When that screen is displayed, nothing else, no any other changes. And yeah, that's it. That is a stateless widget. So I'll delete this return statement. So this is a widget function. That means it is expecting some widget to be returned. So the first or the top level widget that you return in this Flutter application is called the material app. And a material app, if I briefly hover over this, you'll see that it is, let me see. When I scroll over this documentation, it creates a material app. So basically what this material app is like a top level widget. It's a top level widget that gives us the blueprint of our application. It has some attributes, some named attributes like home. Home will give us the first page that will run when we run our application. It gives us things like the theme. Those who have maybe experienced the dark theme or and light theme in an application. So a material app is the one that provides us with all those. It gives us some routes. If you want to define your routes over here, that is how the user will navigate from one page to another. It has a lot of properties with it. And the good thing about this is that if you want to view all the properties that any widget has, you just have to click on Control and space. So I'll just click on Control space, and all these are the attributes that this material app has. That is the action, builder, color. You can see the root, the home, initial root, and all this stuff. So our interest today is the home. Attribute. So the attributes that any widget comes with, you have to define them inside the brackets like of that widget. So as you can see from this return material app, the home will be inside this bracket. So the opening bracket of the material app is here, then the closing one is here, and then inside is where we'll specify the home. Once again, I want to run through this logic. So the first thing we did is import the material package. That is, this is a library built-in package that comes with Flutter. And it gives us a set of pre-built widgets like the material, for example, the text, some low-level, some basic widgets like text, colors, or some high-level complex widgets like the page views. We'll see about that in a few. Then after importing this, we have this void main. Remember, we said that every Dart, anything that deals with Dart, any place that you have Dart, you must have one central void main function. That is where you will run your application using this run app global function. And then it is running this my app widget, which is a stateless widget. You can see. So my app is a stateless widget. It extends a stateless widget. Okay. And then inside this stateless widget, we have this build function. And it is a widget function. That means the return statement must return a widget. And then the first widget that you are returning, and the one that you will be returning all the time, okay, let's say like 99% of the time, is the material app widget, because it is like a top level. It is like a root that guides how our application will behave. That is by defining the initial page, the home, what is the home of your application. Yeah. So what I want us to be displayed as the home of our application is I want a scaffold. A scaffold. So a scaffold is another widget. So it is telling me to use const over here. So I'll just have const, and all the errors are gone. Let me maybe increase this font. I really want to go like slowly so that I don't lose anyone on the way. Yeah. So what I want to be shown on the user once they open this application is the scaffold. And yeah, another question: what is the scaffold? So the scaffold is one page, like it is used to build a single page, and it has some UI elements that a typical page contains. For example, I'll go back to WhatsApp. Like when you open your WhatsApp, what do you see like typically in that application? There is some app bar. There's maybe the name WhatsApp. Okay, do they have the name on the top? Yeah, it is somewhere on the corner, and then you have some icons on top, the search icon, maybe some more, those three dots for more actions maybe. All that comprises the app bar, and then you have some tabs over there for chats, status, and calls, and then you have like the lists of your charts. In other applications, we have the bottom navigation bar. So all those, like the UI elements inside one page, are given by this scaffold widget. So we have our home as a scaffold. So if you want to see what a scaffold has, again, you have control and space. So this is all the attributes that this scaffold will have. So we have the app bar, background color, the body, bottom navigation, drawer, end drawer, floating action button, bottom navigation bar, and all these like typical basic widgets that you will see in any application. So the scaffold is like the UI part. We are now entering the UI part, like creating things that you can see in our application. So I think at this point I might need, okay, I will run our application. I will connect my physical device, and then I will use this Visa application to mirror it so that you can see these things like visually. Let me close the terminal like that, and then I'll connect my physical device. So another good thing with Flutter is that you can run your application like on your physical device, like direct. You just connect it. I'm connecting mine just now. Okay. I have my physical device ready. You can use this software called Visa to copy your screen to copy your screen to your laptop instead of having to look at your phone like all the time. You can have this Visa application. So what you see here is like my screen. This is like the home, the wallpaper of my phone. When you come to your VS Code, down here you'll see this Android ARM, and then the name of my phone over here. So when you click this, it gives you a list of devices that you have connected. So I can run this app on Chrome. That is, if I want to run the web version, I can run it on Linux. In your case, maybe it will be Windows desktop. There are emulators here. You can open your emulators, or you can select your current, you can select your mobile application, I mean your mobile phone, your physical mobile phone connected via USB. Yeah, so let me run the application. Running the application also, there are different ways to run your application. If you are on VS Code, you can come here, you'll see this run. and then you click on start debugging. That is one way of running this application here. Another way is using the terminal again. So you have this flutter run command, just that flutter run, then you click enter. It will run the same application, like it will run this application on your phone. So I'll go with this VS Code option. Yeah, so it will start launching the lib main.dat. You see, so it will look for this file lib/main.dat. This is the file that we said that all, like this is the entry point of all this Flutter code in our application. So yeah, we'll give it some time to run. Time running this might take a bit because it downloads some resources from the internet to your like local setting. But once you do that, any other running for the subsequent times, they'll be faster depending on your memory. The processing of the processing capacity of your machine or laptop. As it is running, I will be happy to be answering those questions if there are any. Yeah.
This application you've said,
yeah,
there's an application you've mentioned. I've not gotten the name. The one that you can use to mirror your phone on your PC.
On the screen. Okay, it's called Visor. It's called VYSOR. It's available for Windows and for Windows, Mac, and Linux. So I'll just copy the link. Okay. What have I done? I'll copy the link and then I'll paste it. Copy link address. I'll paste it here. Yeah. So when you visit that site, you'll get to download it, and then you just have to connect your device, and it will install some Visor application on your phone. It's over here. Where is it? Yeah, this one. So with this, when you just connect this, it will just be like copying your screen to your laptop, like direct, without you having to look at your phone, like when creating, like when you are debugging with your physical mobile device. Yeah. So we are at this scaffold, and we have said that inside this scaffold is where we'll write some code. That is, we will give this page some UI elements, and we typically start with an app bar, and then we'll give it some title, and then we'll go to the body, and then we'll maybe set up a simple bottom navigation system, and probably a drawer over here, and then we'll call it a night because I can see time is what? Yeah. We can also suggest in the group if we can be having like 2 sessions, like some intermediate sessions, like in between the week, so that because there is a lot to be covered, and maybe we can be having another session, let's say maybe on Friday or Saturday. I don't know which will be convenient for you. Yeah, but we'll talk about that later. So you can see our app is already built, so I'll just accept the install. Let's see. I expect like a blank white page, the scaffold, because we have not created anything yet. So this home, this scaffold, which we have provided to the home, is like now the starting page of our application. Over here, we'll maybe have a splash page. A splash page is like a page that it's like a welcome page for your application. Like typically when you open any application, let's say like WhatsApp again, there is this page that you have that is just blank with the WhatsApp logo like at the center, or those who use Twitter, X, like you just open that. Before anything loads, you see this splash page with just their logo over here. So that is what you'll give this to home. But in our case, we have directly like given this scaffold over here. Yeah, you can see this is a blank scaffold. There is nothing over here. And yeah, let the fun part begin. So we'll start with an up bar. So again, if you want to see what this scaffold holds, you have to click on Control and space. You'll see some up bar, background color, body. Let's start with background color. And then this background color, expect something of type color. So background color, if you want to see like the type that each attribute accepts, you just again have to hover. So the beauty about Flutter is that everything like has been figured out for you. You just have to look at it. Yeah, so if you hover over this, you'll see this is a color of the material widget that underlies the entire scaffold. That is this, all of this, and it is given by color. And color is a widget. These colors are already given in the material package, so you just have to select from color. So you have colors. I mean, this is colors, and then dot the color that you want: black, blue, green, red. All these colors are here. Yellow, all of this. So in our case, let's have some blue, blue background, like that. So you have made your changes, and you want to see this blue appear over here. So what do you do? There are different ways to do that. In my case, I have these. Okay, when you're using VS Code, immediately you hit Control S for save. Flutter automatically runs hot reload. That is, it sends these changes to your application like direct. Alternatively, you can come here. You have this icon over here for save and hot reload, for hot restarting, then for stopping your debug. So I'll just hit this. Nice. You can see the background color has changed from the default white to blue, like that. Then any other attributes that you want from this scaffold, you separate them with a comma, and then you give them as a list. Like now, let's say we want this up bar over here. So we'll just have up bar, and it is accepting what? Preferred size widget. This preferred size widget is basically an up bar. There is a pre-built up bar widget, so you don't have to create your own widget. So this is the up bar. There is an error. The constructor being called isn't a const constructor. So try removing the const. So I'll remove this const like that. You can see it is okay with that. So if I save this, I'll hit that. Nice. You see, an up bar has appeared like on top of our application. And also the app bar, you can customize it. So if you want to make any customizations for the app bar widget, again, you have to come inside the brackets of this app bar. And then, so I have placed my cursor inside, and then I click on enter. And then the attributes of an app bar, what are they? So again, control and space. I'll see all of this: the background color, the elevation, the key, the title spacing, center title, and all those stuff. So I'll start with the background color. Okay, again, note this is the background color under the app bar. This is not the scaffold, like the whole scaffold. It is just for the app bar. You see? So that's why I've placed it inside this app bar parentheses. Yeah, so the app bar, we want it to be black. Let's say black. So I'll have colors dot black. Colors is like a class that is given to us by the material package. So it just comes pre-built. And yeah, so then I will restart this, and you can see our app bar has changed to black, which is nice. Another thing that an app bar has is let's say you want some text over here. So it has this title like that. So it is a title. It is a title attribute, and inside it takes some widgets. So in our case, we'll give it some text widget. So text is again another widget that is pre-built with the material package. It enables us to write strings and display them visually. That's why you must have these two like quote marks, and then that string that you want to write will come to will come inside these quotes. We'll have Flutter learning, Flutter, welcome to Flutter, welcome to Flutter as our title. And then it is telling us to use const. So I'll just add const before it. And yeah, it is all quiet and all good. So I'll save this. And if you can see, there is some welcome to Flutter over here, but okay, the text itself is black and the background color is black. So I think we can change this background color to colors.white. Let's not complicate things over here. Yeah. Yeah, so if I restart this, you'll see here, welcome to Flutter. And yeah, this is awesome. Like so far, so good. So we have been customizing like this app bar, and you can see all these attributes are inside the app bar, like these brackets, the app bar. Like we haven't like gone inside the outside the app bar into the scaffold. Another attribute of the app bar is maybe if you want this title to be here at the center, so it gives us this center title attribute. And then when you hover over this, it is taking in a bool. And remember from our DAT, we said a bool only takes two values, that is true or false. So this is for centering title. Do you want the center to be titled? That is a true or false question. You see? Yeah, so you give it true like that. So this means you want your center to be your title to be centered. Then if I save this, nice, it automatically centers our title. Yeah, that's awesome. So I think that is enough with the app bar. So an app bar has a lot of customizations again. So if you just hit control and space, utaona hizi zote like the all of this, they are you can explore them like slowly as you go by. And then we are done with the app bar. So you come outside these app bar brackets, but remember to be still inside the scaffolds, because everything we are defining inside the scaffold. So you come here where the app bar ends, and then you click on enter. So over here now you will continue with other attributes of the scaffold. The scaffold gives us something called body widget, and a body attribute, and also a body takes in a widget. You see? So, and what is a body? From the documentation over here, it is the primary content of the scaffold. It is displayed between below the app bar and above the bottom of this bottom navigation bar. Like basically, body is this, like anything below the app bar and above the bottom navigation bar. If you have this bottom navigation bar over here to navigate between different pages, so this is the body. This is where now like the contents of your application, I mean the contents of this page will be defined. And another thing that you can have, let's first leave this body for a while. Let's have first the bottom navigation bar. So we can have this bottom navigation bar. And what does it accept? It accepts again a widget. But Flutter, thanks to Flutter, we already have a bottom navigation bar widget. This is it, bottom navigation bar. And immediately I type this. Let me minimize this for a minute. Let me minimize this side panel so that everything can fit over here. Then I'll reduce this over here so that you can see everything. So for the bottom navigation bar, you can see the parameter items is required, but there is no given argument. So it has these items. because basically when you open any bottom navigation bar, you have like 3, 4, or 5 items to navigate between. Same to this Flutter side. So you have these items, and it's a list, and it is a list of bottom navigation bar items. Remember about when we are learning about Flutter, we said when you have a list and you want to specify what the data type of the things that you want to go inside inside that list, you have them inside these greater than and less than symbols. So in our case, we have a list, but it's not just a list of normal widgets. No, it is a list of bottom navigation bar items. So I'll just copy that, and then inside this list, I'll provide bottom navigation bar item, and it requires icon, the named parameter icon. That is like basic. You all know that like down here you have icons that you tap on. So icon, again, this icon requires some widget icon. You see? So don't get lost like between here, because we have these items. It is a list of these bottom navigation bar items. So we have provided one, and then when I give this icon, we'll provide another one and another one. We'll have 3 of them. So we have icon, and then icon widget. The icon widget, Flutter already gives us this set of icons. So I'll just have icons.home. There is a pre-built home icon, this one by Flutter. Then I will have a comma, then a comma, and a comma. So a comma helps us like when you save, it will be easier for you to trace like where this bracket starts and ends for each widget that you have nested. One thing that troubles people when they are starting out with Flutter is how these widgets are nested. Like as you can see, we first had the material app widget, which gave us the home, and inside the home we gave the scaffold widget, and now the scaffold has the up bar, bottom navigation bar, and now inside this bottom navigation we have these items as a list. This the list of navigation bar items. It is taking in an icon widget again, like that. But don't worry, like the more you keep doing it, the more it will appear. So I have an error because I've clicked on save without giving at least 2 bottom navigation bar items. Like you cannot have a bottom navigation bar with the one item. So I'll just copy this, and then paste like that. And then I will restart the application. I really hope that the error disappears. Okay, first of all, there is this const. This will clean everything. And then we will have this. Okay, we had this bottom navigation bar item, the first one. Then I've copied this and I have pasted it over here. The second one, I'll have icon.settings. I really hope that there is a settings icon. Yeah. So these are settings. And below each icon, I want some text, like to say that this is the home, this is the settings. So under this icon widget, there is something we call a label. Label, where is this? After the icon, we have the label. Yeah. And label is a string. If I'm not wrong. Yeah. Label is a string. So for the second one, we'll give this string settings. And then the first one, we'll give some label of home, like that. Then I will restart my application. Nice. You can see we have this home, and then we have this settings. So if you want another bottom navigation bar item, you'll just add it over here inside this list of items. Okay. I hope that this doesn't give you any confusion. Don't get confused with this. So first of all, we had this bottom navigation bar, and we had this bottom navigation bar widget inside the scaffold. Then this widget requires a list of items because you cannot have like one bottom navigation bar item. Otherwise, you wouldn't have this. So it accepts more than two items, two or more items. So we have this bottom navigation bar item 1, and then bottom navigation bar item 2. We have separated them with a comma. And inside each, so if you want to trace like where it starts and where it ends, you just click on this opening bracket. You'll see this like a colored line to show you like these properties are inside this first item. And when you click on this, you'll see that all these properties are for the second item. For the first item, we have the icon property, and we are supplying it, supplying it with the widget. And the icon widget has this selection of icons. Remember also we had the same for colors, where we had colors.white, because colors is like a class given to us by the material package with a list of these colors. Likewise with the icons, we have icons, and then you have these icons dot. Then you select from a whole bunch of pre-built icons from the material package. So we have selected the home and the settings. And also inside this bottom navigation bar item, the first one after the icon, you have this label property. It is like the text that is shown below this bottom navigation, that is the home. And for the second item, the settings. Yeah, so very quickly, we'll look at the body. I hope up to there is no any question. So I'll just check from the QA. I can see this. What specifications does my phone need to run the application? For your phone, I don't think there are any specifications. Uh, I have never really like had any specifications of running your app, because even okay, any phone like when you are running, okay, when you have built your app and you've given it to the Play Store, uh, any person with any like kind of phone can install it, uh, isipokuwa wale wenye wako na the outdated phones, like the one that have low SDK requirements. But basically, like any typical smartphone can run your application, can be used to run the application. Yeah. Okay, so we have decorated this app bar, we have the bottom navigation bar. We now want to come to the body. So inside the body is where now like we have, let's say, okay, I like giving the body in between the app bar and the bottom navigation bar in the code. Like basically you can have it anywhere inside the scaffold, but for readability, like, okay, normally you just want the code to flow the way your UI is arranged. So I just come where the app bar has ended, and then just before the bottom navigation bar, I provide the body over there, body, and then this comma. So this comma will separate it from the bottom navigation bar. Then the body expects, when I hover over this, when I place my cursor upper juu, you'll see the body is of type widget. So it is expecting any widget. And there are different types of widgets now that you can have with your Flutter application. And they are categorized based on what they perform. They are layout widgets, that is widgets that are used to arrange your items. Let's say you want a list, a vertical column, a horizontal column. Okay, a horizontal column is a row, like when you want to arrange items horizontally or vertically. There are all those widgets that Flutter has. And then you can have, like, when you want to just have one widget, one of the most common widgets that we have is the container. A container widget is like what? Is like one of the commonly used widgets in Flutter. And a container widget is basically like what? Like a box whereby you can specify the height, the width, the color, and you can give it a child. and all those stuff. So we'll first decorate our container. So we'll give it some height. Let's say a height of, okay, if you have done some CSS, a container is like a flex box where you have the all those properties of a flex. Yeah. Okay, so we'll have this a height of 100, a width of 100, and color of colors dot, let's say black or red. Let's use red for this time. So you can see all these properties I have defined them inside this container, and then I want to save, and then we'll see where this container will be rendered. Okay, rendering something is the action of Flutter painting that thing on your screen, like displaying. In other words, it's like displaying, but it is the word rendering is used interchangeably to mean like displaying the UI widgets visually, like on the screen. So I'll save this, and now, nice. You can see this cute little box over here that is 100 pixels by 100 pixels and of color red. So basically, this is a container, and then there are other like ways to decorate this container. So if you want to see that, again, control space, you'll see all the properties that a container can have. That is the margin, the padding, the constraints, the decoration. For example, you want these edges to be rounded. You want some shadow around this. You want some child of an image. All those properties are over here. So we'll have a child, and then the child, inside this container, we want some text saying hello Flutter. So what we do, we use this child attribute, and then we again give it the text widget. Remember the text widget from the app bar, where we had this text widget given for the title property. Okay, so we'll give again this container some child property, some text widget. Again, text is a string, so we'll say Flutter. Let's just type Flutter like that, and this is a const. Give const over here, then I save. You see, so you can see here there is some Flutter text being given inside this container, but it is appearing on the top, like top left corner. The way that whole container has appeared on the top left corner of the scaffold. So basically, the idea is that Flutter starts painting these pixels, like rendering everything from in the scaffold from the top left corner. So it is up to you to position it anywhere that you want inside this body space. So and one of the ways that you can, let's say you want to bring this to the center, VS Code, like with Flutter, already has that solution done for you. So you just have to click on this container. So for the body, this is the container that you've given, like these. You want to bring it here to the center. So you have to have a center widget, like you have to have this container as a child of a center widget. There is already a center pre-built widget, but because we do not give it, we did not supply it when we were writing this container, like we did not have a center, then a container as its child, you just have to wrap it with a center. And how do we do this? You simply have to come to this bulb. You see this little bulb over here. When you click on container, then there is this bulb over here. When you click this, it will give you an option to wrap with center this. So there are other options like swap with parent, wrap with row, wrap with column. So just wrap this with center like that. So center is another widget. It is used to provide items at the center of that parent widget. So in our case, the body is the parent widget. So this container will be shown at the center. So I'll run that, and nice. You see? So what I wanted to demonstrate here is like how widgets are nested like inside each other to create UIs in Flutter. in simple ways. Again, we want to use this center widget inside this column, inside this container, I'm sorry, to center this Flutter text at the center of this container. Wait, have I repeated that center word unnecessarily? Okay. So what we do again, you come here to the text, you click on it. This bulb comes over here. So there is also a shortcut that is Control plus full stop. Yeah, so just click on this bulb and wrap this with center. And it is saying that you should use const with this center. So I'll just have const. This tells it that it will never like be rebuilt again. So unnecessary const keyword in the text, because its parent widget already has the const keyword. So yeah, so I'll just run this. And as you can see, this Flutter has appeared at the center of this container. Why? Because we have wrapped this text with the center widget. And again, this container, all of this container is at the center of this body. Why? Because we wrapped this container with a center widget. So basically what Flutter has under the hood is like a tree. Yeah, so let me open this site. There is a site we use, Excalidraw. I will illustrate the Flutter tree, widgets tree, and then we'll call it a day. So what? Okay, so this is like the hierarchy of how Flutter does. You have these. Let me first label this. So you have this is the material. I'll make this text a little bit bigger. Large will do. Then text over here. So this is we started here with the material app. This I'll show you the code. So this is a material app. So we have my app. Okay, basically we said that every app has a run app, and it returns this my app. And inside this we have the material app. So this is the first widget, like a top level widget. And we have said that this gives us some attributes over here. So we have like the home. We have something like the theme. We also said the material app gives us some theme for the application, and all those like other properties. That is the something like the roads. And then we went ahead, and inside this home we had a scaffold widget. So inside here we had this scaffold. I don't know if I need to link these ones. Yeah, nice. So this will be easy. So from material app we have different attributes like the theme, the home, and the routes. Then we went ahead and gave this home some scaffold. I'll give this text over here. So this is a scaffold. Sorry, scaffold. I really hope that that is the correct spelling of it has a double F somewhere. Like that. And then we said that the scaffold is now what provides us with the visual UI elements that we see on the screen. That is the app bar. So the UI gave us, the scaffold gave us the app bar. I'll make this text small. Then we'll have the app bar. And then we have seen some body. I'll have this text over here. This is body. And then we have had another widget under the scaffold. That is the bottom navigation. Bottom nav bar. Yeah. And then inside the app bar, we had another widget title like this. We had the title. I'll give this a okay. This is a title like that. And this title was okay, it was a text widget actually. The widget itself was a text. It was supplied to the title, and then inside the body, okay, let me have this relationship over here. Then I'm sorry. We have the body, and then we have the bottom navigation bar, and then inside the body we had some center widget. I'll give this center widget over here. So from the body to the center. Yeah, so like the whole idea is that Flutter operates like using a widget tree, and that is like nested widgets, like widgets inside another widgets inside another widgets, and that's how like you come up with all the visual UI widgets that you see on the screen. And using this analogy, like, okay, inside this center, we had the container, and then we had another center, and then we had a text like that, like down here, like this. And then I'll just copy this and paste it here. I'll carry this over here. So from the center, we had the container, and then another center, like that. So the whole idea is that everything in Flutter is a widget. So that is like a slogan. We always say that everything in Flutter is a widget. And from this widget, you can see how simple it is to customize your widgets, like to give you your unique desired UI widgets. Later, we will see, like, because of time, I could not illustrate how you lay out things in like columns and rows. But we will have the next session whereby we will see how we arrange all those UI items visually, and then how we interact with assets like images, fetching images from the internet, fetching images locally in your application, adding fonts and all those fancy stuff in your application. But basically, I hope that you have understood how we come up like with a basic Flutter application from creating it, having the material up, having the scaffold, having the body, and then bottom navigation bar. And basically, like this is what you typically see in most applications. Like this one page, as I said earlier, an application is basically like a collection of pages. So if you know how to make this one page and give it like all the attributes that you want, the UI widgets that you want, then you create another page and another page and another page, and then you just learn how to navigate between the pages. You're done. You've created your application. Okay. So I know time was not enough, like to cover everything that I wanted to cover, but we will get time and finish on all those stuff, like having layouts on your Flutter application. I Let me check on the questions. Specifications. Yeah. When you connect the apps, how do you attach the application on the phone to debug? You have to enable developers. Yeah, like Alex has said, you need to enable developer mode on your phone, and then you connect your USB. With that, you will be able to debug with your phone direct. It also helps you like save on your laptop's RAM, because when you run the app on your phone, it will use the RAM on your phone. That will save you like memory from the computer's side, especially if you have like a low-end machine for your development. Any other question up to that point? AVD manager is missing from the Android SDK. Yeah, I think you can check on your Android Studio under the SDK tools if there are tools that you have not installed. I think I will illustrate that uh, in the group because I can see like time is far ahead, far much gone. Once again, thank you very much for attending this session. It was a nice one. I hope that you have learned a thing or two about creating and running your first Flutter application. From there, like it's only your imagination that can stop you. Okay, like anything that you imagine you can create with Flutter. Like anything, any UI widget, any animation, any decoration, and all those stuff. I really urge you like to go like dig deeper, create as many UIs as you can, because you only learn by doing. There is no shortcut like with a Flutter. The more you'll do, like the more UIs will construct, the more you'll know even those attributes. There are some attributes that I come across them for the first time also, like in my development journey, in my like day-to-day development. So the more you do them, the more you get better at it, and the more it will be easier, like for you to create these pages and build a beautiful looking UIs with Flutter. Yeah. So if there are no questions, I think we have come to the end of our session. We will discuss on when we'll have some intermediate lessons. Like for those who are interested, we can be having like some side lessons for these small things like the layouts, creating your eyes, before we meet on the Wednesday weekly sessions. Myself, I am also like starting a mentorship on mentalist.com that will be running for Flutter. And we are also starting with beginner stuff like debugging widgets, like layouts. You can hit me up. I'll send the details to the group about that also, so that when you're free, you can just join those sessions, and we'll create those amazing applications with Flutter. So thank you very much again. Yeah, I can see like we are 20 minutes ahead of time, but yeah, I wish to come to the end. When is the mentalist supposed to begin? I was planning on starting it this weekend. Let's say something from Friday, maybe Fridays or Saturdays. Yeah, because it's like a freestyle thing. It's not like a teaching like stuff. It is just like whereby we'll be coming together and discuss how we build, like how we approach building these applications, how we approach like integrating our apps with APIs, Firebase, and all those. Like it will be like what how do you call it, like an interactive session. Yeah, so I will communicate on the group once I have finalized everything, because of the posters and stuff. But other than that, please, I urge you, like it does not stop here. Go do those like UI tutorials. When you go to YouTube and search Flutter UIs, you'll get a lot. Like they will teach you how to handle all those layouts, the containers, how to decorate them, how to use all those images and stuff. So that when we come here on next Wednesday, it will be a smooth sail. Let me check. On the next Wednesday, we have a session with, I believe, working with, okay, we have done with, wait, yeah. So on the next Wednesday, we have Firebase and data serialization. And you can see we have not finished with widgets. So I really urge you like to go look at those widgets. Then by next Wednesday, we will be at least somewhere. I will communicate about the mentalist stuff on the group so that you'll join if you're willing. Otherwise, thank you so much again. And I give this chance back to Alex so that he can conclude for us. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, so good evening, everyone, once again. Yeah, so I'm Alex. Yeah, and thank you, Victor, for that session. Yeah, so we've been able to cover widgets, and we've seen how different widgets can be used when developing an app in Flutter. And actually, one thing that I learned about Flutter and generally programming, it's all about practice. You know, when I started Flutter, and Victor is a witness, I used to complain like, hii kitu haingii, you know. But then I realized it's all about practice. When you practice it daily, 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 it will just come and it will sink in. Yeah, so we'll try to organize whether we'll be having 2 sessions per week. Yeah, or how we'll go about it, whether we can even implement physical ones so that we can also do it ourselves practically. Yeah. There's some people, the moment the session ends, the next time they look at Flutter is next Wednesday. Yeah, so you can try to implement that. So with that, I have nothing much to say. I think I can welcome Wilson, the GDSC lead, maybe to say a word. Yeah, thank you all.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Yeah, thanks, Alex, for for giving me this chance again to speak. I'm so much grateful for this session, for the Flutter Wednesdays. Yeah, the session has been very productive. Thank you so much, Victor, for sharing with us uh, your Flutter skills. Yeah, yeah, it has been very productive, and I hope as we progress on with more sessions, we'll continue learning and we'll continue growing. Yeah, so let's meet next Wednesday for the same. We'll yeah, like we have said that for us to be perfect and get better at this, it's all about practice, and that applies to everything in programming and in tech. Ukitulia kidogo hivi uja code, unakuja code unapata akili imeosha. So let us just keep on practicing so we can get better and better. Thank you. Yes, back to you, Alex.
Yeah, so we'll meet again tomorrow for a Kotlin session. And then on Friday for reverse engineering session. So far those are the only sessions we have this week. Yeah, it will be a busy week. Okay, for the WhatsApp link, let me just share it. Let me share the WhatsApp link. Yeah, so you can feel free to leave. Good night, everyone.